Greetings and salutations, good people. It is Soccer Over There. This is your Monday night special. And I don't know about you all, but I am absolutely wiped out from an insane soccer weekend. I am joined right now by the godfather of all things soccer in the Southeast, the kingmaker himself, Mr. Jason Longshore. How are you, sir?
The kingmaker? What?
Yeah, man, the kingmaker.
Okay. I'll take it.
You have the Midas touch on soccer. If you say, look, I am anointing this as somewhat important, the good people will at least tune in once or twice. So
I did not know I had that power.
Oh, you have that pull. People have told me on the streets. They've said, look, if Jason Longshore is involved, we're going to check it out. So
I didn't know people talked about me on the streets. First of all, I guess that's a good thing.
I think it's a good thing. I'm going to go ahead and suggest that at some point, when the Tata Martino statue gets erected, that we make sure that we have a Longshore statue nearby and or a plaque at minimum saying, "Hey, look, Jason Longshore, soccer godfather." Thoughts on that?
No. None of that. None of that.
Songs and Rivers, maybe.
Maybe Longshore, a mixtape somewhere.
A mixtape. We can do a mixtape. That we can certainly do. Well, Jason, I don't know about you. I know you had an insane weekend calling the game between NYCFC and Atlanta United, but the whole magic word for this weekend is hype, right? I mean, when you have MLS conference semifinals happening, there's a lot of hype surrounding it, and then this slow building undercurrent, at least stateside. We know in South America it's a different animal, but the hype for Copa Libertadores leg 1, it just kept building and building and building. And obviously because of Atlanta and the ties that we have to Argentina, a lot of it seemed like the United community were tuning in. But I kept thinking, like, there's no way in the world the hype can equal what the game is going to be, right? I felt like the hype is going to be so large, the game is going to become a stalemate. The weather was crap. There were biblical floods. And then the news reports start coming in of rival fans burning houses down and Wave fans being banned, and then tropical flooding, and then the game's starting. I'm streaming it live on the Fanatics app, which is incredible, by the way. If you don't have it and you are away from your TV for any reason, the Fanatics app can get you everything you need regarding Copa Libertadores. But when you saw the Boca Juniors fans that I'm pretty sure were powered by uranium-infused mate, automatically I'm like, okay, this is big. All right. So far, I'm in. This is huge. I can tell. I'm bought in. And then the game starts. And Jason, in a two-leg scenario, I could easily see one or both sides playing very cautiously, not wanting to give up the crucial away goal, trying to feel out what the game is going to be like. But instead, we were treated two sides ready to play at warp speed. And
yeah, usually in the first leg, you're going to get something that is kind of cagey. It might be a low scoring, and things build to a crescendo in the second leg. If it's going to build from here, I'm terrified for what happens in 2 weeks, because that will be the most ridiculous match of all time. This was a 2-2 knockdown drag-out in leg 1. I feel like, and I didn't get to watch it live. There was something big happening at Mercedes-Benz Stadium, so, I was a little preoccupied. But I've had a chance to go back and watch, and I feel like I feel like both teams will honestly look back at it like they left something on the table. The first leg being at La Bombonera, Boca really needed to win it, but River answered twice. I think River could have actually won this one, and probably not won the whole series, but all but sealed it. But they left some goals out there, but they bounced back every time Boca went into the lead. And go back to the save in the 90th minute from Armani. That is going to be the play that could end up giving River Plate the trophy.
Oh, his performance, even though it was a 2-2 draw, his performance, I thought, especially in the latter half of the game, he pulled off a couple of saves that were next level. And the way that I felt about this, and as I'm scrolling through Twitter and I'm watching the game, and you start seeing goals back and forth, right? You have a, what is it, the 34th minute? You have a game. You have a 34th minute. 35th minute, right? And then you have and then what is it, 60th?
Well, you have the goal right before halftime, and normally when you see something like that, okay, Boca's going to be in great shape. They get that goal before halftime. River has to tear up the halftime speech, figure out what you're going to do in the second half. Can they bounce back? They do. They get a goal about midway through the second half. Both teams with chances after that, but Boca had the clear-cut one at the very end, and Armani makes the save on Benedetto. That's the one, to me, that gives River all of the momentum in the second leg.
But, I mean, when I'm watching this, Jason, it's like a Rocky movie as a soccer match.
Oh,
right?
Easy.
I mean, you got that 34th minute goal happens. You're like, oh, wow, okay, the Bombonera's going nuclear. Everything's great. Literally, the 35th minute, River comes back and scores. Okay, all right. This is some next level business we're watching here. 46th minute, Boca scores again. And it's like, oh, whoa. Hold up. What's happening here? Next half comes around. You have the 61st minute, Pity Martinez, that kick. Can we talk about that for a minute?
Sure.
I mean, that if you are an Atlanta United fan, and let's just say the rumor is there, right? Let's just say the rumor's true. For a moment, let's just go to Dreamland and say that Pity Martinez is coming to Atlanta in January. You have yourselves a player, because that guy right there was pulling off some free kicks that in 97% of MLS matches it's going in. His first free kick attempt was, I guarantee you want to talk about a save, damn near upper 90. Mm-hmm. Somehow the keeper jumps up and manages to swat it away. And outside of Zach Steffen and his ability to kind of levitate and fly around, I don't see many keepers stopping that in MLS. So you have to be feeling pretty good about yourself getting a player like that, especially for the amount of money that we're talking about bringing him in for. But as I'm going through Twitter, I start seeing the Euro snobs chiming in. And I have to bring this up. I don't want to focus on the negative too much, but soccer over there, we get into the drama a little bit. I kept seeing this stupid thing about, Copa Libertadores does not equal Champions League. Champions League is so much better, blah, 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 blah. And I am a Champions League evangelist, right? Like, I am all in on Champions League. I think it's great when you see some of these, the big time clubs, when you see Bayern and Chelsea playing each other, or Juventus versus Barcelona. You're right that it doesn't equal Champions League, but I think Copa Libertadores is better. And I use the rock and roll analogy here. Like, if you have a band that you watched coming up when they were doing small time venues before they got to the big super stadium shows, and there's something raw and reckless and dirty about it, it's alive, I have friends who saw the Rolling Stones, because the Rolling Stones will pop up once in a while and they'll do like a bar show randomly out of like nowhere. They'll just show up under a fake name and, oh, hey, there's Mick Jagger at my bar. What? Like, that's what they say it is. It's something. There's just something to it, unrefined, that I loved. I love seeing the 6-foot barbed wire fence, 16-foot barbed wire fence, right? The crowd going nuts, the balloons popping up in the air, the giant thunder sticks. From top to bottom, the game itself had a vibe that I don't think I have ever felt, except for when Milan and Inter were at their absolute peak powers, at each other's throats, constantly contending for either Scudetto or European success. I've never seen anything like this before, Jason. And like most of our listeners, I think I'm in the learning seat when it comes to Copa Libertadores. I'm sold. Hook, line, and sinker. I'm all in on this. But if you're a Euro snob and you're saying that, oh, no, this is the Champions League, blah, 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 just back up for a minute and enjoy what was happening on the television. Because you're not getting it anywhere else.
No, if you're a soccer snob in general, and there are soccer snobs of all walks, stop. Just stop. It's to me. I'll take your music analogy one step further. There are three very different bands that I have absolutely loved and have loved them on the scale that they're on. Guns N' Roses, one of the all-time greats. Period. Just incredible, big time. They are what they are. REM is probably my all-time favorite. Not Guns N' Roses level. They're not that big. They're not that kind of big. They're great in their world. Jump Little Children, a small band from Charleston, South Carolina that I've seen nearly 30 times. All of them are great at what they do. Just because Jump Little Children is not Guns N' Roses doesn't mean they're not worthy of people's time. They're different. Just because CONCACAF Champions League is not the UEFA Champions League doesn't mean it's not worth your time. It's different. Copa Libertadores, it's different. You have different things that go into it, different passions, different stories, different history, all kinds of differences. You can still appreciate it for what it is. If you compare it apples to apples, is the level of talent the exact same? No, it's not. You have the best of the best in Europe. However, how many UEFA Champions League games have you seen that have been absolute duds and you wanted your time back after the 2 hours?
Oh, my God.
It happens. It happens. How many times have you seen a bad game in any league? It happens. There have been great matches in the Copa Libertadores. There have been awful matches in the Libertadores. Same in CONCACAF, same in Europe. It's not a better or worse thing. It's, did you enjoy your 2 hours of watching this game? Okay. Answer that question. That's all that matters. I've enjoyed watching college games this season. I've enjoyed watching USL games this season. I've enjoyed watching MLS games this season, being there and enjoying that moment. There have been bad games in all of those levels as well. That's soccer. There's no guarantees once the whistle blows. Just enjoy it and stop worrying about comparing it to something else. That was an amazing spectacle in the Copa Libertadores first leg of the final. Period. That's all that matters.
Well, I can tell you this, and Brandon B. has chimed in and has said, don't let those craft beer Euro snobs talk down on the madness of Copa Libertadores. They must be from EAV, Vermont City Market area.
Hey, I like some craft beer, but that doesn't mean I don't like a Coors Light every now and again. Come on. That's the thing. You can have a little variety, people. It's okay.
It's okay. I promise. Life will be okay if you put down the Liverpool or Arsenal jersey or the Man United jersey, which you probably have already done at this point in the season anyway.
Yeah.
And just enjoy it. Enjoy it for what it is. It is clinical insanity taking place in front of you. Rival fans have burned each other's houses down over this game. Just take the game and enjoy it for what it is, you know? And can we talk about Dario Benedetto? Can we figure out how we can get this guy to MLS? Like, what's it going to take to get him away from Boca Juniors? Because that guy shows up and he just seems to be the ultimate goal poacher. He did it against
what a header on that second goal to give them the 2-1 lead at the half. It's just a free kick straight down the middle, and Benedetto goes up, wins it, and is able to redirect it.
But the thing is like we just keep hearing about these guys getting poached out, and if you watch that game and you watch that header, the talent is there. If you are an MLS team and you are not watching this game thinking, can we call his agent? Can we see what it would take to get him in? And I know that that before Felipe Cardenas said that he had some knee troubles before, and that playing on turf might be problematic for him. Money cures a lot of things. And if you come at him with the right contract, I'm pretty sure that he can somehow figure out how to play on turf. There's a lot of time.
True. No, well, there's that one, yes.
I'm just throwing that out there. I'm just saying that we need to figure out how to get that guy in, because the Palmeiras goal was a lightning bolt from above. And then his ability just to come in here and make a difference. And every time he seems to step on the field, he makes a difference. And I think there's a lot of marketing opportunities with that epic neck tattoo that he has as well. So we have to figure out how to get it. I see dollar signs, Jason. That's what I'm seeing at the moment.
There is that. He is valued currently, according to Transfermarkt, which is not exact, but gives you a ballpark, 10 million pounds. That's a steep number. You know, this is a guy who is coming off the knee injury. He's not quite back to playing a full 90 week in, week out, but he went back to Argentina from Club America. He played at Tijuana as well. He's bounced around Argentina before he went to Liga MX. He would be a guy that would make a lot of sense. He's 28 years old. I don't know if there's an MLS team currently that would pay that type of price to Boca. You have to see what his contract situation is and if he feels like he's going to re-sign there. It looks like his contract, according to Transfermarkt, is through 2021. So probably not this window, but as you get a little bit later in his deal and he gets closer to 30, I could absolutely see him ended up in MLS.
If you're Nashville or Cincinnati and you need somebody who can bring a thunderbolt once in a while and still fit that sort of pricing model that you're looking for, that's a direction I'm looking at. And I think you're right. You know, not necessarily this window, but you know, maybe a summer, maybe the next winter. Yeah, take a flyer, see what you can get for the guy.
Nashville's a good call.
Yeah, I just think that's, you know, Atlanta United has shown this, you know, and we're going to start talking about transfers as we get further along. But if you're Nashville, if you're Cincinnati, you need to go ahead and start planning, because if Miami starts trying to make moves that are being rumored, go ahead and jump on that wagon, boys, because I promise you it will pull out of the station before you even know it. Back to Copa Libertadores, though. River Plate in commanding position at the moment. If they got to go back home and they got to close the deal out. But Jason, what do we need to do to get a soccer down here universe, soccer over there universe watch party? I don't know who we need to reach out to, but we need to figure this thing out.
I think we can get this done. Our friends over at Fido Irish Pub are able to carry the games. They have a rather large location in Buckhead that should have plenty of room for a soccer down here, soccer over there get together for the second leg. So let's see what we can put together. The scheduling is worked out on the MLS side, so we won't be traveling that weekend. So Copa Libertadores on the Saturday before Atlanta United and the Red Bulls, first leg of the Eastern Conference Finals on Sunday. It sounds like a plan.
There we go. And if you are listening to this and you're wondering how in the world can I get a hold of this absolute bat blank insanity, you can use Fanatiz, that's Fanatiz, or Fubo. And seriously, just sign up. There's like a free trial. So within 5 days of the actual game, go ahead and get your free trial, give it a test drive. And if you get the Fanatiz app, that's the one I went with, and I can tell you firsthand, I am not remotely disappointed at all. It's been worth every penny because the Argentine League is bug nuts in general. Yep. So, and there's games all the time. Like it's like midday. Oh, there's a game. Wait, in the night. Wait, they play nonstop, 24/7, 365.
Yeah, because they have like 50 teams in the first division in Argentina, but you know, you think MLS is crazy. Argentina had 30 teams a couple of years ago. They're trying to get it back down, but we'll see what happens. Yeah, it's like Friday afternoon through Monday evening, you have matches going on in Argentina, and they're all archived on Fanatiz as well. That's something that's pretty sweet. So when, for example, Eric Remedi signs with Atlanta United, I'm able to go back through the Fanatiz archive and watch some Bonfield matches to get a sense of how he played in different matches against different opponents. Very helpful for me, and just good quality of a streaming service. I've been really impressed with Fanatiz.
Their mobile app works exceptionally.
It's awesome, yeah.
I mean, crystal clear. I had very minimal lag, and I know we're kind of getting insider baseball here, but from a media standpoint, that tells me a lot about your investment when you start having your mobile app run that smoothly. And big ups to AT&T, I guess. I don't know, free plug, but it was exceptional. I'm very, very happy to have purchased that one. It's almost at ESPN Plus level. And you guys know what an evangelist I am for ESPN Plus. So Brandon has chimed in that he is packing for a trip and has shown a picture of lawn dart, a big cup, and some Arizona tea. So take it easy there, Brandon. Take it easy, man. You're packing for a trip. You don't want to get, we don't need to go. Yeah, we want to actually arrive at our destination. Anyway, if we could get side note, if we could get Copa Libertadores refs and Italian VAR and MLS, I think we would be making some serious progress. That's just a little side note I've thrown out there.
Yeah, Felipe had a great point on the referee assigned to the first leg of the Libertadores final. People were like, "Oh, how's any referee going to be able to handle this situation? It's such a crazy match." And Felipe said that this is a referee who it's a known fact that he offered to fight a player after a match. I think he's going to be okay.
Yes, that's what I'm talking about. South American soccer is the best. Oh my God, I'm all in. I'm completely invested. Jason, can we go ahead and take a break? And when we come back on the other side, we will hit up a little bit of international ball and a little bit of Serie A on the back end. So
we can do that.
All right. It's soccer over there. We are all in on Copa Libertadores. You should be too. Commercial break. We'll be right back. Thanks for sticking with us. Nick Aliffi, Jason Longshore. We will be right back.
The average time a resume spends on an HR manager's desk is 7 seconds, and most of them are tossed aside. Now imagine if one of those resumes belonged to Yasmin, who was
living in a shelter, juggling 3 jobs. I had to be resilient. That's something that you can't teach.
We rely so much on a resume, yet it could never tell the full story of someone who
had to be independent and take initiative. And that's how I handle every project I get.
Discover new ways to develop great talent at gradsoflife.org. Brought to you by Grads of Life and the Ad Council.
We know that every driver is different, and a one-size policy does not fit all. That's why Country Financial offers a variety of discounts, so you get the coverage you need and the savings you deserve. From good driver to good student, multi-policy to multi-car, we've got a discount to suit every driver. Call Jason Wright at 678-568-6871 today to see what you could save. On Facebook at Jason Wright Agency or by phone at 678-568-6871. Discounts vary by state. Policies issued by Country Mutual Insurance Company, Country Preferred Insurance Company, or Country Casualty Insurance Company, Bloomington, Illinois.
Hey, hon, what you doing with your phone? Taking pictures?
No, I'm asking it questions.
Like what?
Hey, Bobo, do flowers have best friends?
I'm sorry. I'm afraid I don't know that.
Hey, follow me. I want to show you something. Look, flowers do have best friends.
Whoa.
Some answers can only be found in nature. Discover the unsearchable. Visit discovertheforest.org to find a trail near you. Brought to you by the United States Forest Service and the Ad Council.
Soccer Down Here is sponsored by Apolinski & Associates, LLC, personal injury lawyers with over 30 years of experience. Call Steve Apolinski at 518-350-4231 or email him at steve@aa-legal.com if you need help with a wrongful death or serious injury matter. Steve Apolinski is rated one of the top 100 trial attorneys in Georgia, recognized as Legal Elite by Georgia Trend magazine for being one of the most effective lawyers in Georgia.
All right, soccer over there. We are back. Thanks for sticking with us. Special thank you to all of our sponsors who have taken a shot on the SDH network. You are appreciated. I want to get something up here on the international break. It's coming up, all right. And then I'm not going to drag this out too much, just because I think it's kind of absurd. But the international break's coming. We can't get around it. We can't duck it. We can't dodge it. In the words of Thanos, dread it, run from it. Destiny still arrives. Well, if you're Dave Saracen, your destiny is that you're an interim manager, right? So what are you trying to really prove here? But yet he still calls out a top flight squad for this absolutely absurd U.S. England Wayne Rooney testimonial Wayne Rooney Foundation Super Give Game, whatever they're calling it now. I don't know. But if you are the U.S. men's national team manager and you're getting ready for a friendly, why in the hell are you calling players from MLS who are in the middle of their postseason? Is the U.S. pool not large enough for you? What in God's name are you thinking? And I can't do anything about the Paraguays of the world or the Venezuela's. I can't do anything about them. But Dave, you're an interim manager, my guy. What do you have to prove? And if you make this call and say, well, I need to go ahead and call all these top flight guys in. I got to get Brad Guzan up and you were going to call Darlington Nagbe until his hamstring, quote unquote, has a slight strain. But I hope you keep that same energy should you become an MLS manager and then that international break somehow interrupts your postseason plans. Because that's just absurd and stupid. And no, he owes no allegiance to MLS, but you're essentially doing a job interview and you're calling top flight guys and saying, hey, look, come tire yourselves out on flights and play and risk injury for my job interview. Guys, talk me off the ledge if I'm being crazy here.
No, I don't like it. I'm not a fan. MLS has to figure out a better way to deal with this international break in November. I've said for a while now, I think they just need to extend the regular season to where it ends here. It's still not ideal, but you're not getting FIFA to get rid of the November date. It's very important in that World Cup qualifying window the year before the tournament where you have your playoffs. I would imagine you'll still have some form of playoffs even when the World Cup expands in a few years. This window's not going anywhere. So then how does MLS better deal with it? I think they do it by having the regular season end yesterday. You take your break, you come back, you start your playoffs midweek the following week after the international break. So everybody has a chance to get back and be on a normal weekly schedule. And your lower and you get rid of the knockout round too. That's another one I would add to the mix here. Mm-hmm. You have your lower seeded team host midweek the Wednesday following the international break. So the European leagues would be back that weekend. MLS playoffs would start that next Wednesday, and then the top seed would host the second game on the next weekend. That's how I deal with it because you're not getting FIFA to change the international windows.
I'm just wondering, can somebody make a call to him, the manager, and just say, "Hey, look, do us a solid."
Oh right? No! In this case, yeah, this is a whole different case. I mean, from a big picture standpoint, sometimes you're going to have a window and you're going to have a player called up. I mean, if the U.S. had made it to the playoff last year to have to play their way into the World Cup, they would have had significant call-ups during MLS playoffs, and there's nothing you can do. That's a different situation. This is a friendly. I don't see any value in it, even for the England game. But the player can't say no. The player can't turn that down because you never know when you get these opportunities. I totally understand it from their side. They're caught in the middle. The club can't refuse the call-up because that doesn't create a good precedent either. You're stuck, and it's just a bad situation. For Saracen, I think he's not helping himself here. There's really no benefit at this stage because he's not staying in the job. I don't think it affects whatever his next job is at this stage anymore. Why are you having Brad Guzan, Aaron Long, Tyler Adams, would have been Darlington Nagbe, come across for, even if it's just the England game? Why are you having them fly, train for a day or two, and play in a game that means nothing at the end of the day?
That's something that blows my mind. He's like, oh, well, we have to see what we have. I mean, does Greg Berhalter have to see what he has?
And that's a different situation, and maybe that has something to do with
it. But that's the question. Can't Don Garber just call him up and say, Dave, really, dude, call your Euro guys, call guys who aren't in the middle of this playoff deal, and let's at least have the strongest teams possible for this whole issue. There's enough mud on the U.S. men's national team right now without having to get club fans riled up over this whole thing.
It's tough. I mean, Garber said stuff about how Klinsmann was treating MLS and call-ups, and he got shredded for it. So he's being careful here, which I understand. I'm sure there was some politicking behind the scenes, and I'm sure that's why Saracen mentioned it last week, that the guys who are still active in the playoffs are not playing in the second game of this too. And there's definitely no way they should play in the second game against Italy. There's zero to gain from that one. I don't think there's much to gain from playing against England either.
John Nelson joining us now. Your thoughts, sir?
Where Dave Saracen is concerned, I feel like in this particular situation, it's like the substitute teacher who decides he's going to give the pop quiz and have it count for the grades for the class.
Yeah.
And you know that the substitute teacher is not going to be liked going forward for doing something like that. All of these call-ups with MLS being as deep in the playoffs as they are make less than 0 sense to me. But you'd like to think that the USMNT is going to have this list of guys who aren't going anywhere and save them for later, knowing the context of the situation. So, I mean, for me, it is a head scratcher, and you just want to, much to your point, Nick, you just want to kind of sit there and go like, come on, man. It's like we got stuff going on over here, and it's a 45-minute testimonial / friendly / fundraiser / and, I know that a lot of folks would want to sit there and go, well, I was a part of blank, but for Red Bulls and Atlanta United and anyone else who's attached to this, you want to sit there and go, I kind of like to focus on what's going on here right now, but it is a massive head scratcher for me. It makes less than no sense.
Yeah, and if you're an Atlanta United fan, which I think most of the listeners of this show are, unless are good people in Canada, you may not like him that much, but you're talking about going to Japan, right? You're talking about Venezuela playing Japan. I can't do anything about that, right? Don Garber's not going to call them up and be like, hey, help us out. But Saracen has to do better than that. It's just absurd to me. And if you are interested in the international fixtures that are coming up Thursday, November 15th, the United States versus the English national team in the Wayne Rooney Remembrance, not really sure what he did with his career. What did he actually accomplish in order to get this testimonial game?
Oh, no. I'm not letting you get away with that one, Nick.
Oh, why not?
What did Wayne Rooney accomplish in his England career to get this?
He's the highest scoring player in English history. What else?
That's enough.
Really,
That's enough. Yeah, I mean, you were going to play England and U.S. anyway. It's a friendly that means nothing. You're not taking away from a meaningful game to honor Wayne Rooney here. It's a friendly. It's at Wembley.
Unless you're mentioning how British sports talk radio went nuts about it.
And I told you they were stupid because this is a friendly that had nothing to talk about. Now it has something to talk about. It's for a good cause. It's for his foundation, which does good work. Nobody's being hurt here. He deserved to be honored.
But we thought he was done with international play.
Yes.
So it's a friendly. He's probably going to play 45 minutes, if that.
Yeah.
He might sub in late. No. Who cares?
Yeah. I mean, I had zero issue with it, but basically our friends at TalkSport, when this was announced and they came hot off the press and went straight into the emails, went absolutely ape nuts bonkers over the idea of Rooney coming back.
Good for them. They're essentially Paul Feinbaum show. Good for them. Yay. They got a couple talks.
Paul.
They might throw some pies at each other. I don't know, but it's a stupid take. It hurts nothing.
How's it a stupid take? What did England win with Wayne Rooney?
It's not about what they won with Wayne Rooney.
It's about what his part of their national team history was.
Look, here's my thing about it.
What are you comparing to Jeff Hurst?
Let him walk. Wayne Rooney is a guy that if this was going to happen, right, and I still don't think that the tribute match should happen, but it should have happened a while ago. But I don't think that... What? Give him a walkout. He walks out. He has a suit on. He smiles, he waves, but it's not like Wayne Rooney and the English fans have had just a tremendous relationship this whole time. It's not like he's been, he was the guy who was supposed to carry them to newfound heights, and yet time and time again, England collapsed like a neutron star. What exactly has this man done to be rated like this? He's the highest scorer in English history.
That's
Great.
Enough right
there.
Yeah,
end of story. End of story.
And Nick, let me ask you this one. What did you think when U.S. Soccer did pretty much the exact same thing except for the fundraising component for the guy's foundation for Landon Donovan?
Most American soccer fans don't want to know my thoughts on Landon Donovan.
Oh, no, that's fine. But did you think it was completely out of line to give him that send-off match?
Out of line? I would not say it's out of line. I thought it was a little buffoonish.
So then what about what they –
Hold on. That's fine.
Okay.
That's fine that it's a little off, but
Landon Donovan was a transformative figure for the U.S. men's national team. More so than Wayne Rooney.
In terms of
both programs.
I'll agree with that. I'll agree with that because there's less great players to compare him to. I think Landon Donovan's the best player that's ever worn the U.S. shirt over a whole career. That's how I feel. I think Clint Dempsey is probably the most talented, but over a whole career, I think Landon Donovan had the better national team career than Dempsey.
Correct.
But it's 1A, 1B. So yeah, it's a smaller pool. But what I'm getting at here is this is not some big important match. This game would have nothing going on in it. Zero. The U.S. didn't qualify for the World Cup. There's nothing exciting about playing the United States right now if you're England. Nothing. You're playing at Wembley, middle of the week. Nobody cares. Nobody's coming out for the game. It's a nothing game. You're probably not selling tickets. So, you have the opportunity to honor your all-time greatest scorer, who, by the way, just moved to play in the United States and had a great season, half season. There's no harm in this. Now, if he plays 90 minutes at the expense of somebody else getting some time, yes. If he plays 45 or less, it's a nice way to say thank you for your career. It's a nice way to honor his foundation. It's a nice way to actually have the game have something to talk about with it, and that's
negative.
Nothing is harmed here.
Negative. Andrea Pirlo, when he officially walked away from soccer, and we all know that he was a traffic cone in his final days with NYCFC. He had a tribute match in which he called out any player that he had played with who could still remotely jog, including his sons.
Oh, yeah. No, that's a different thing. That's the ideal. I agree. Those types of things are great.
And that's what they should have done for Wayne Rooney if he wanted to do that. And like you said, if you're going to trot him out and he has this lofty legend in English soccer lore, oh my God, Wayne Rooney, we speak about him only in whispered tones. And you're going to trot him out for his great triumph and his great tribute and in front of a half-full stadium in which you're probably not selling tickets? Why not just wait until they have a larger match and then walk him out in a suit, let him get his cheers and his adulation, and walk away?
Because he's still a player. I don't think there's anything to be bent out of shape about when it comes to this at all.
Shape. I just think you're trying to gear this thing up for something larger than what it is. Which, hey, I salute you. Try to get your money if you can get it, but I just think that there's a far better way to do this than trying to spin up this thing as some great Wayne Rooney send-off. And look, I was completely wrong on Wayne Rooney in MLS, right? I said, oh, he's going to come here. He's going to be another traffic cone. The speed of the game will be just too much for him. Hey, wrong. Eating my crow all day long. Because in that DC United versus Orlando match, he showed me that I pretty much don't know a damn thing about the game he has left. But from what I saw of his final time in England, What I saw in his matches when he played with the English national team, it's great that you are the leading scorer all time for the English national team. Good for you. The Three Lions salute you in your service. But to say that he deserves a send-off at all, no. I'm sorry, you don't. Because you're not a transformative figure in your own space. If you are a transformative figure in your own space, I think you get that kind of that reverence. But I just don't feel like he had it. When people look back on Wayne Rooney's Three Lions career, I think they see disappointment and what might have been. And that doesn't rate the send-off.
So then what's your send-off then? What would you give him, a high and hearty handshake at some nebulous friendly? What is your send-off then for the leading goal scorer that the Three Lions have ever had?
I think that you wait until you have a match that means something, and then you send him out. Then you send him out in a suit, a very well-tailored suit, and you send him out with his family. And ladies and gentlemen, the leading goal scorer all time for the Three Lions, Wayne Rooney. And then the crowd, yay! And he waves, goes to center field, yay, all right, okay, thank you. You're off the pitch. You go to your skybox, and you sit back and you drink martinis for the rest of the show. That's it.
See, I wouldn't do that at a match that means something either, though, because then I'm distracting from the match that means something. If I'm going to do that, I would do it at a match like this too. I don't know. I don't know why everybody's, because you're not the only one. This is not just you being upset about this and you're the only one. And wow, I can't believe anybody be upset about this. I don't get it. I mean, the guy is the leading goal scorer in England's history. I mean, it's not his fault that he hasn't had a whole lot of help around that team. He scored all the goals. What more can the guy do? So it's just, I like these types of things. I like when greats are honored, and I like when you're honored at a time when it can be truly appreciated. Rooney has had a little bit of a bounce back. You honor him now. You send him off. He plays whatever he plays in this match, and that's it. Done. I think it's so harmless that whether it's in a suit, whether he plays a few minutes, whatever, it's a nice thing. England probably came to him. I mean, he's not going to say no. He's not going to be like, well, I don't want to do that. No. It's a good opportunity. Cheer him off one last time, and then it's over, and everybody can move on and stop yelling.
Okay, so then, Nick, let me ask you this. This was the question I had before.
Yep.
What would your send-off have been for the 99ers, the originals, where the women's national team had that one last match for the first guard where Mia Hamm changes her kit at the halftime and goes from Hamm to Garcia Parra? What would your send-off have been for that?
In my mind, the 99ers were transformative in their space. They put it on the map. England's national team did not need to be put on the map. They were already on the map. The 99ers elevated a game to a level that everyone took notice. Were there phenomenal players before the 99ers? Yes. But the 99ers said, we're here. This game means something. And now you all can see that the level that we play at is different than your expectations may have been put out there. But we exceeded those expectations. We ended up on Sports Illustrated. We ended up on ESPN. We took a game that should have been brought to the forefront earlier, and we dragged it kicking and screaming out into mainstream media. Wayne Rooney did not do that. He appeared in Nike commercials. That's it.
No, that's not it. He scored more goals than anybody in England's national team history. You can't penalize him because the rest of the squad, including Rooney, didn't live up to the golden generation tag. He did everything he could do. He scored more goals than Jeff Hurst. He scored more goals than Gary Lineker. He scored more goals than Alan Shearer. I mean, he's the guy. You have a chance to honor him. Take it. Doesn't hurt anybody.
Fine and great. I'm not watching it. So
you weren't going to watch it anyway, though.
This just reinforces it.
It hammers it home. There's absolutely, we gain nothing. The world gains nothing from this match. I hope.
No, it doesn't.
No. in as much as the men's national team shouldn't be calling up who they're calling up for it, then why not let it be what it's supposed to be? Just enjoy it for what it is.
Because I think that if you do something like what Pirlo did, I think what that allows is for you to say, hey, look, I'm doing this for my foundation. We are bringing out legends, people that can stir that nostalgia in such a way where there's not just the negativity of, hey, guys, I'm the leading all-time scorer for the Three Lions, and we didn't win anything else really of note.
I agree with you on the Pirlo thing, but if I'm not mistaken, because most times when this sort of thing happens, it is after the player has completely retired as a professional. Pirlo, I believe, did that after he left NYC, correct?
That is correct.
Okay. That's I love that type of situation. It can be a lot of fun. I like that. I would like to see those types of things happen too. This is a little different because Rooney is still an active player. You can get something out of it if you're England. You can benefit a foundation. It's so small that I don't think it hurts anything. But yeah, I agree. The Pirlo stuff, when you retire completely as a professional, and this is something you do. I mean, Ronaldinho's made a tour of it, going around and playing at Silverbacks Park in his retirement tour or whatever it is. I mean, come on. So I don't want to see Rooney do that. Just do this, and then that's it for the national team.
I stayed away from that one, too.
Well, tickets were a little crazy for that one when it was Ronaldinho and random players who might have been from Brazil, maybe, against local guys from a local adult league. And I think tickets were like
Ronaldinho and friends. It's like having Foreigner without Mick Jones and Lou Graham, or Fleetwood Mac without Lindsey Buckingham and Christine McVie and John McVie. That's Ronaldinho and friends.
Oh, no. When Fleetwood Mac fired Lindsey Buckingham, they should have stopped the tour immediately. Because to me, at that point, you're just robbing people. It's like Kiss without Ace Frehley. You're robbing people. Stop.
Journey without Steve Perry.
Stop. You're robbing people. I don't care if you have a guy that can imitate him. No, perfect. It's not the same. And I felt the same when Axl Rose said, I'm going to go tour with AC/DC. It's like, no. You're wasting people's money and time. Walk away. Be great and walk away. Anyway, all right. We'll leave that there. On to Serie A, where, guys, I'm a little depressed. AC Milan, they made it the Champions League, the top four status. All they had to do was hold on, and the injury bug hit. My man Gattuso, it's not his fault. It's not his fault. There's nothing he can do about people getting injured left and right. He still somehow, some way keeps dragging this team along.
Sometimes it may be good.
Sometimes it may be. Still one of the greatest interview meltdowns ever. I love that man. He will always have a special place in my heart. But
I have an AC Milan question for you.
Yes.
What happened to Higuain this weekend?
Okay, so Higuain, for those who are not spun up on Serie A, Gonzalo Higuain used to play for Juve, and he was supposed to be the star striker who led them to all glory that was available for professional soccer teams. It did not happen. He was very good, but he wasn't transformative. And the way in which he was removed.
No Serie A tribute match for you.
No Juventus tribute match is coming. That is for damn sure. And the way that he was unceremoniously dumped by Juventus to Milan, it wasn't like he even went to a team that was in contention for anything magnificent. It was just, hey, this team's broke and they need help, and you're going there. Okay. So I think out of anger and really a lack of options, he took the Milan gig. But in this game, Milan versus Juve, everything just came to the surface. It's almost like when you go out, when you were younger and you dated someone and they broke up with you pretty, in a harsh way, and then you see them at the same restaurant or club with their new person. Everything comes flooding back, and that anger's right there. So he turned his body into a projectile, launched it into a guy. Fortunately, gets a yellow card. I thought it should have been a straight red, but
yeah.
And this is as a Milan fan, I'm telling you, it should have been a straight red. And then he ends up telling the ref where to go, what horse to ride in on.
He had a lot to say
with him. Yeah, he had a lot to say. And then pretty much he ended up getting the second yellow and told where he could go and what horse he could ride in on. And it was just a pure meltdown. And even Gattuso, who was the king of absolutely going nuclear, said, yeah, Gonzalo went too far. So when Gattuso says you've gone too far.
That's pretty bad.
Yeah.
So you're telling me that Gonzalo Higuain went full Brenda Walsh in Beverly Hills 90210 when they run into Dylan and Kelly having dinner?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. It's a bad time. It's a bad time when you see your ex. And Cristiano's like walking around, and it looked like every time that Higuain saw Cristiano walk by, he just got even more enraged.
Oh yeah, I mean, look, your new team picked up a guy with killer abs, the suave hair. He's scoring goals left and right. He's assisting all of the people up in that insane strike force that Juventus is trotting out. They're obviously they haven't missed a beat. If anything, they've improved. And you have to sit there and as a man watch that. I mean, look, Gonzalo going to do what Gonzalo going to do and turn his body into a missile. I think there's better ways of maybe coming through with that. But I mean, look, he's going to be missing a few games for this one. So
I felt kind of bad for him watching that play out. I felt kind of bad because you could see him just completely melt down.
It was tragic. It really was tragic because you saw in the game more and more that Higuain was looking. You could just see the desperation on his face, and you could it just looked like a guy who has clearly lost a step, who couldn't keep up, and pride and anger and that venom took over. And when it happens, pop off. So Gonzalo's going to be gone. This is not good for Milan. Obviously, major issues already with player health. Calcio Mercato has come out with an article that says that they're going to need at least 4 players in the January window to compete. So this is, if anything, this might start accelerating the Zlatan Ibrahimovic to Milan rumors. I think it's going to happen.
Oh, no.
Yeah. The rumors are out there. I think it's going to happen. He wants to go back to Milan. He loved playing at AC Milan.
But what happens to Higuain if that happens?
Yeah, that's a great question. And this is really... Well,
oh, man, he is going to lose it. He's going to break out the if it walks like a duck and talks like a duck line.
Well, here's something to consider. It's a loan with an option to buy. And if Milan gets out of that, he goes back to being a Juventus player, and his payroll hits Juventus as well at the same time they are still financing the Ronaldo transfer and his payroll. Which means if you can't move Higuain's salary, financial fair play is going to come sniffing around saying, hey, guys, you're suddenly running a deficit. What are you going to do?
Oh.
So Milan could enact a poison pill by walking away from the Higuain deal.
There's got to be some different clauses in the deal that would prevent that. I would think Juve would have some kind of no takesies, backsies for a year type of thing in there. I don't know. Yeah, this is going to get weird. This is going to get really weird.
It's going to be, and seriously, it's one of those things where, Milan, this deal with Milan should have worked out swimmingly. And so far, it has to an extent. It was a slow start. Higuain's picking up speed. He's having some success. And this was just one of those moments that I think that was a rare moment for Gonzalo. But
then he sees the new girlfriend and he loses his mind.
He sees the new girlfriend, he loses his mind, and he goes absolutely
gets kicked out of the club, gets banned for life from the restaurant. I mean, it's just all kinds of problems for Gonzalo.
Well, this game had more drama than just that, because remember that Bonucci was the former Milan captain for a year, rent-a-captain, and the Ultras unfurled a banner that said, "Bonucci, the only captain worse than you is Scalotto, who is the Scatino, excuse me. He's the Costa Concordia captain, who was notoriously partying while his ship ran aground and sank."
Ooh.
So the Curva Sud, really, really getting dirty. So there was a lot of drama in this game and a lot of fury. And so if Zlatan Ibrahimovic goes, it will also be a loan with an option to buy. That seems to be the business model that to keep financial fair play away, and they can sort of string out the financing. They're going to be looking for players in a target range in January from about 25 to maybe 40 million tops. They need wingers. They need playmaking midfielders. They need central defenders. And all I'm saying is that if you're an Atlanta United fan, we happen to know a particular winger or a particular attacking midfielder who could go in that price range. Should Milan be so ready? I'm moving them toward the front of the list. They're my top two now for the Almiron sweepstakes. I still think that Spurs are number one. They're holding firm in my college football style rankings of the Almiron sweepstakes.
In the garlic bread power rankings?
Yes, the garlic bread power rankings. It's currently Spurs at 1, Milan at 2, and then pretty much West Ham is. People keep tossing around West Ham. I don't see that one happening, but they're my top two at the moment. So
okay,
yeah.
as we finish up, I have a question that I need some clarity on because I don't understand how this works, and we were talking about it a little bit in the break.
Yeah.
Something that's come up a few times about how you can watch games in the U.S. and watch more games. Like you can watch more Premier League games in the U.S. than you can in England. It's just the way the TV contracts work, and they want to drive people to the stadiums and all that. Totally get it. So they'll have Sky Sports where they've got commentators on, and they're like watching games and telling you about them. Italy takes it to a whole nother level. And I've seen some of the clips you've shared of the commentator who is the Milan commentator who goes insane whenever Milan scores. I saw a clip from the Juve Milan game over the weekend, and it looked like a game show where there was like the Family Feud set up of like panels on each side. You had the Juve side over here and the Juve family, and then you had the Milan family over here, and Juve scores, and like the two guys are doing a dance and yelling and screaming.
Oh, I'd love to see Steve Harvey do that.
What in the world is going on with your TV in Italy?
All right, so you have a couple of people who can run the games. Like Sky, obviously has the current rights holder for Serie A, but I think RAI picks it back up. But either way, regardless of which one of those two are holding the rights, there are a laundry list of groups out there, broadcasting groups, who want to be able to get a hold and sort of leech onto the creature that is Serie A. Much like you see the fish that swim with the sharks, it's the same idea, right? Like, okay, we can't get the big meal, but we can feed off the scraps. So what they do is they hire these guys like Tiziano Crudeli, who's the guy who I typically share videos with, whenever I get permission to go out and hang out with my friends and do things like go to Fido to watch Stoppage Time. You'll see me share a video with Crudeli going nuts after Higuain scores, and he goes and high fives everyone. But that's what they have to do. Essentially, it's the same as a radio broadcast, right? So the way that we would listen, to you guys, Jason, it's the same thing over there, but you have to make it visually appealing as well. So you have these guys who go nuclear at the smallest thing, and then you got to bring family and friends involved with it as well. And it's phenomenal. It's amazing. And you can watch the clips on YouTube. Tiziano Crudeli, 7 Gold is the network that he's with. And yeah, they had a younger, good-looking guy with who is the Juve fan. And Crudeli, I mean, that guy's got to be almost 80. And so whenever he goes nuts, I mean, it's like you're like, oh my God, Tiziano, you gotta calm down because you're gonna have a heart attack, because he's like running across, hand slapping everybody else. I've almost gotten into fights before on this show. So it's a must watch if you can get on YouTube and watch this. You want to watch 80-year-old guys get into fist fights. It's absolutely amazing. TYC does some stuff similar to this from time to time. They broke out like a charcuterie board and wine nice. At 11 a.m. On an episode. It was great. So yeah, that's why it's happening and why it's absolutely note perfect. If you can get a hold of 7 Gold, then you need to watch that.
So yeah, it's not like the fan zone stuff they used to do on the old Fox Soccer channel, because I mean these are like professional commentators. I mean that's what they're known for doing. It's not like a random fan, but the way they do it is just bonkers. I'm actually trying to pull up a quick clip of the Juve Milan one because it was kind of crazy. Let's see if this is gonna work. No, it's not.
No,
we'll try to have that next time. Yes. It's insane, but it looks like the Family Feud setup. It looks like a Family Feud setup with a split screen, and you've got a host, and you've got like 3 guys on each side.
So what'll happen is like Milan will get the ball, and Credelli will sit there and talk about what's happening, and then he will sort of do play-by-play. The Juve guy will add in some color, and then the Juve guy will take over play-by-play. Credelli will add a little bit of color, and then somebody scores. In this case, it would be like Ronaldo scoring. And then Credelli just crumples in his seat. And this other guy just like jumps up. They're dancing, they're singing, there's like picking up hugs and running people, grown men running each other around. Like all bets are off. So it's must-see TV if you can get it. But yeah, 7 Gold is the one to watch. If you can pull it up on Serie A game days, then that's what you need to be checking out.
I will be all over this, or at least finding the clips, because like a guy's coming out from backstage.
Oh yeah,
hugging the long-haired guy in the Juve shirt, and Credelli looks sad, like he's gonna cry over on the other side, and they've got a board with magnets, like showing where people are in the field. I think it's insanity.
This is what we need to be doing, Jason. We have to take
stoppage time with this.
Stoppage time. We can do stoppage time with this. I'm telling you, I will direct it.
The guy just jumped out from behind his little table and did the Cristiano Ronaldo goal dance.
That's right.
Stoppage time would be epic doing it that way.
No. Because we'd have to be watching a game. Like, you don't just do it running around yelling. You don't just do a show running around yelling. Then you're just a lunatic. Like, this is 2 sets of commentators. It's like dueling commentators. It's like Serie A debate club or something.
Yes.
It's
Serie A Crossfire.
It is Serie A Crossfire. And if you're wondering what the board looks like, if you watched the Amazon series All or Nothing, the Manchester City story.
Oh, that was awesome.
When Guardiola has the board and he's like talking at 1,000 miles an hour and moving the little magnets around, it's the exact same board setup. So you have the sort of neutral person who's moving the magnets around, and then these knuckleheads who are screaming at each other, like they've been ingesting household chemicals. So it's a must watch. As we wrap up, we go into a little bit of stoppage time ourselves. Inter completely laid an egg. They lost 4-1 to Atalanta. There's rumors already circulating that Diego Simeone will leave at Atletico and take over Inter. I don't put a lot of stock into that, but stranger things have happened. And essentially, it just proves that if Icardi is not scoring, that Inter is playing with like 10 men on the field. So I don't know. That they dropped down to third. I would almost venture to say that this clearly gets them the distance. Any distance that you allow between yourself and Juve is just it's a huge problem. There's really no coming back from it right now because Juve's B team could compete and probably finish mid-table in Serie A. So they're the deepest team that I've ever seen in Serie A. So good luck, Inter. Wish you the best in your future endeavors. But Napoli and Juve, it's a race at 1 and 2. So outside of that, you can go back, check some things out. ESPN Plus has all of your Serie A action on demand, which is what I tell you. I'm honest. If you watch Serie A instead of watching Copa Libertadores this weekend, you did not follow my advice. make sure you do the right thing and watch it live next time. But, guys, England really quick. Do we want to hit England, or are we going to save that for later?
John, go at it.
Championship is crazy. Neil Ardley resigned from AFC Wimbledon. All of our hearts are mellow considering what he did to get him there. They've lost 6 of their last 7.
Nothing about the Premier League?
Oh, them?
Yeah.
It's still Manchester City, Liverpool, and everybody else. 6 teams are heading for the relegation scrap.
There we go. Magnificent. That is what I am talking about. Really quick for La Liga, Barca loses to Real Betis 3-4. Barcelona really needs to figure out what's happening with that back line because they have Boy Scout Troop 773 manning the defense right now. So they got to figure that out. Other than that, I think it's been a pretty good show. Guys, thank you so much, as always, for putting up with me for an hour while I rant and rave, and thank you to all of our listeners out there. And this past weekend was the Marine Corps birthday. Happy birthday, Marines.
Semper Fi.
Marine, Semper Fidelis. All around the world, nobody does it better. Marine Corps numero uno. And, of course, happy belated Veterans Day to all of my fellow veterans out there. You guys and girls are the absolute best of the best. We love you. We salute you. We understand that, and I can tell you from experience, when you are somewhere far away from your family around this time of year, it really sucks. But little things can keep you going, right? Podcasts, letters from home, all these wonderful things. Please, if you have veterans in your life that are active duty service members who are deployed, write them. Old school, pen and paper. Write the note, write however long you want to talk about anything you want under the sun, your favorite TV show, what the weather's doing out here. I remember my ex-wife sent me a Falcons game on VHS, and we were in awe at the bumper for Channel 5 News, and it showed the city skyline, and we had our little tin can was packed out with people just staring at the television of the Atlanta skyline, and even normal commercials. We were like, oh my God, this is incredible. I promise you, for the people who are deployed, every little thing matters. Everything counts. There's nothing trivial you can send. Send it. And with that, we love you guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. We've gone way over stoppage time. Jason Longshore, John Nelson, I'm Nick Aliffi. This is Soccer Over There. We will see you next time. Mucha Euro, y'all.
A lot of liver, y'all.
All the lyrics.